Today we're discussing a game that lives up to its name. Let's take a look at Boltgun from the Warhammer 40K series. If you love retro-styled pixel shooters, you've hit a gold vein. And if you love the Warhammer universe, even better. But before we hop into our review, please help us defeat the mighty YouTube algorithm and boss. Like this video, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications. Thanks, let's lock and load. Warhammer 40K Boltgun is a first-person shooter with a stylish retro look. The FPS is considered a so-called boomer shooter. But before you start thinking in the wrong direction, we're just talking about old shooter games in the style of 30 years ago, like Doom or Duke Nukem 3D. Not about boomers in general.
Okay, boomer.
Are you sure about that?
And yes, with their old-school gameplay and retro look, these kinds of shooters are a natural refreshment among all the next-gen games with these UE5 photoreal graphics. What is Boltgun about? Well, it's about a boltgun. You step into the armored boots of a super soldier space marine and let your beloved weapon do the talking. Well, of course, there's also a story. As a battle-hardened ultramarine, we're sent to the Forge world of Greya several years after the Space Marine events. There you are, to recover an important energy source to stop the demons, Chaos cults and the Chaos Space Marines from taking control of the world. Unfortunately, our comrades' landing capsules are caught in a warp storm and we must fight our way to the target as the only survivors. And you can imagine what that looks like. Fast-paced, pixelated, incredibly trigger-happy, and filled with gore. We quickly realize the story is just incidental, which is a bit of a shame. The gameplay is classy. You have a life and a shield meter and run through the levels. Along the way, we pick up weapons, ammo, and kill hordes of demons, cultists, and vile creatures. Here we can look forward to a comeback of familiar characters like nerdlings, terminators, and well-known bosses. To address the shooter veterans, there is also an ultra-hard mode called Exterminatus, but even on normal, most players might already have a tough time. Initially, we still have to fillet our enemies exclusively with our iconic chainsword, which we operate by default with the right mouse button to slice through opponents. Holding the mouse button slows the game considerably, and when released, our Space Marine charges at the target with a sword. If the enemies are a bit tougher, we can chop them up by pressing the right mouse button again. But don't worry, halfway through the first level, you'll get the classic Boltgun. You can look forward to this moment. It is epic and awesome, at least for franchise fans. Those familiar with the universe know this is a high-tech weapon of the 41st millennium with automotive explosive projectiles. It shouldn't be surprising that the weapons, especially the Boltgun, are a blast in their audiovisual implementation. After all, Rauhut Digital didn't name its game after the weapon for no reason. So pew pew, water gun blasting? Far from it. Here, the animation, the model and the sound are just right. Later, you also get other iconic weapons like the melter gun, the plasma gun or the heavy bolter. But be careful, ammo in Boltgun is scarce. Better save your best shots for the tough ones. Besides the firearms, there are also 3 types of grenades and we can knock enemies away with a dash attack. Well, yes, it seems the Ultramarine bootcamp just pays off.
Yes,
Boltgun's movement feels surprisingly coherent right away. It plays fast and fluidly, yet we stay grounded as players, and that eases our minds immensely. After all, we are in heavily armored Space Marine armor, and Warhammer 40K Boltgun represents this weighting despite the speed. In the levels, you collect the classic power-ups occasionally, which give you temporary boosts like more damage, infinite ammunition, or short-term invulnerability. Speaking of levels, once again, Rauhut Digital demonstrates a contemporary sense that picks up modern players while preserving the classic features of retro shooters. Our path leads us through snow-covered peaks, factories and apartment blocks which impressively reflect the abysses of chaos and the world of Warhammer, and these areas invite you to explore. Away from the shooting, we occasionally have to find keys or destroy secret walls to get new weapons, like a vengeance launcher. Boltgun thus rewards you for exploring the levels with overpowered items. If you want to be undisturbed while doing so, there's even an invulnerability setting that you can activate at any time via the accessibility menu. Warhammer 40K Boltgun is a wacky retrofest and gives you something like 10 hours of bloody visceral pixel combat that is incredibly satisfying. The game feels modern and the pixelated Warhammer worlds with its bright graphics won us over. It looks good, it's challenging and fun to storm through the many levels, discovering valuable secrets along the way. Yes, the gameplay can be repetitive and the story is somewhat incidental. But that's to be expected from an FPS that wants to follow a clear line and is inspired by retro shooters of the 90s. It does a great job doing so. A short-lived but fun splatterfest that we can clearly recommend to genre fans and those who desire variety. We hope you enjoyed our Boltgun review and thanks for watching. What do you think of this game? We're looking forward to your comments. If you like or dislike this video, show it with your thumb. Expect more videos soon, and for more content updates in the meantime, check out our website yourgames.tv and follow us on Twitter @yourgtv. See you in the next one, ballers.